So I wonder, I think Chip, someone ran into Andy. I
Okay, we're gonna.
wonder if Andy's sad because pricing went down.
I did run into Andy.
I think he's going to be sad because he always wants pricing to go up.
Yes.
Hey
well,
guys, when I hit record, Jim got kicked out, so he's gonna rejoin. When he does, I'm gonna try and stay muted so that you don't get a lot of background noise because we're in the same room.
Hey, Amy, how's my connection right now?
You're pretty good, Andrew.
Okay. Hopefully I can kick it off and understand it right to you guys.
Amy, why don't you just have Jim slide around and share a camera with you if you're in the same room?
Okay, we're gonna switch computers. We're ready to go. Okay. Yesterday on stage during my presentation here at DataCon. First and foremost, thank you all. We wouldn't be where we are today without the early adopters of SaaS alerts. You believed in us before anybody else did. So thank you for that. The objective today is to answer any and all questions that you may have regarding the announcement yesterday that SaaS alerts was acquired by Kaseya.
Somebody's got to go to earbuds over.
Shut up. Okay. So hopefully technical issues are a thing of the past at this point. So we, like I said, we want to answer those questions. So I guess we'll just open it up. I'm going to first answer the why, and then I'll open it up to all your questions. So I've been asked this question now. I've done, I don't know, 6 or 7 media interviews in the last 24 hours. And one of the questions that comes up is, why did you do the deal? Why Kaseya? Why now? And the simple answer is, in a company's lifespan, in one's career, you have very few chances, if any, to change an industry. And I truly believe that we have an opportunity here to change the MSP industry in a very positive and meaningful way. When I saw what Kaseya was doing when I saw the result of what Kaseya accomplished with Kaseya 365 endpoint, so many folks adopting that subscription so fast. And then when Fred and Insight started talking to me about what they wanted to do with user, I felt like this was a great opportunity to truly change the unit economics for every MSP out there and provide a level of protection that will be unmatched in the ecosystem. So when you have an opportunity to do that, I think it's worth taking the leap and going for it. So that's really the why, and the why now. So with all that being said, let's open it up for questions. You can put them in the chat.
Yes, so this is Ryan with Simplified IT Solutions. I have a question.
Yes, please.
So I'll just say I'm IT complete with Kaseya by acquisition. So I pretty much have all the products, but I had them before and then they get bought. So SaaS Alerts is one of those. So now they have the user licensing, the Kaseya user licensing. Is it possible? I mean, what does it look like to convert, everything that I already have, including SaaS Alerts, into the Kaseya user pricing model? And I already, and then I noticed that it was quite a bit cheaper. I think I saw somewhere where it was like $2.70 a license for all the products and user. So So for a guy like me that has all the products, how does that work?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. So it is $279 per user per month for everything that's in the user subscription. So that's obviously includes us, that includes graphics, email filtering, it includes security awareness training, it includes
Bullfish, dark web
Well,
ID,
yeah.
Graphis, Datto SaaS Protect, which is the
Yes,
backup of 5 backups, Spalding backup.
exactly. So Enrique's already on it, so he probably knows better than anybody. So you have the opportunity to upgrade from all the products you have today, and you're paying on an individual basis, and upgrade to that user subscription for the $279. So I'm assuming based on the products you have a Kaseya account manager. So you would be reaching out to them and saying, hey, look, these are the products I have, these are the accounts I have. They're going to put you through a calculator, and they're going to be able to give you essentially an agreement for 365 user.
Okay, so when I converted Kaseya 360 endpoint, right, they told me that they weren't allowed to like reduce the contract value that I had now, right? So I ended up with basically somewhat of a price increase by going to that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same case with the user licensing?
So I know they're using a similar type calculator for it, but I don't know all the specifics because everyone is going to be, everyone has a unique circumstance. So the only way I can answer that for you is if you reach out to your account manager, they can walk you through it. And because everyone like just speaking from a SaaSers perspective, everyone knows we're very clear about our pricing. The two things that influence pricing is the term, how long, 1 year or 3 year, and what your level of commitment is in terms of users. And so there's some people on this call that depending on when they came in, when they adopted us and what term they're on and how many users are on, someone could be paying, at this point, 75 cents, someone could be paying $1.50. So what they're going to do is they're going to plug all that in, not just for us, but for all the products. And then you're going to see, hopefully, this is a situation where you're saving. But you're going to have to work with your Kaseya account manager on that one.
Got it. And my Kaseya account manager now, right? Are they able to manage my SaaS alerts account?
So for the time being, you're going to have a SaaS alerts account manager like you've always had. I don't know if that today is Maya or Connor or Jake, but you will continue to have them to make sure that there aren't any issues through the transition. And probably right around the start of next year, we'll look at what that looks like, but we're not making any predetermined decisions on that. Our core goal here is to make sure that there's zero disruption in how we protect you and how you get billed and how you interact with us.
Got it. And then on the Kaseya user licensing, the other question I had is that per like end user? Because like today, anything that can log in to Office 365 is considered billable with SaaS alerts, including like guest accounts and stuff like that. Is that going to be billed the same on the user Kaseya, the user license?
Yeah, so what we're gonna, and again, you have the ability within SaaS alerts, right, to make sure you know what is going to be billable or not.
Yeah.
In terms of being able to block logins. So that same mechanism will be in place. If someone's not allowed to log into 365, then that's not a billable account.
Got it. So yeah, so none of that's changing with the way that it's per user, or it basically SaaS alerts will still be based on the ability to log into 365 as a billable account.
Correct.
Yeah, but let's clarify that, Jim. We do not bill for guest accounts.
Right.
I'll stick with my theme that we've stuck with for 4 years. We would love to bill for guest accounts, but collectively, you guys have told us that you'll shave my
Right.
head and skin Jim altogether. So we're not changing that policy.
How about shared mailboxes? Are you going to stay without doing that as well?
As long as the shared mailbox is set up per Microsoft best practices, so that is not available for direct sign-in, then we don't bill for it.
And you have it, we have the code, we have to block it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you block sign-in. Yep.
And there's a 4 to 5 policy that will help you do that through, the entire organization too. So you don't have to do it one by one.
Enrique's hand up. Always polite, Enrique.
Okay, yes, Enrique.
So just to clarify on the 365 side or Kaseya user side, it's per licensed user. It's just like Drop Suite or any other backup solution. They back up the complete suite, shared mailboxes, etc., but they just bill you per licensed user. So I guess there's definitely going to be, if you're using 365 user, Kaseya user, you're definitely going to be billed for less quantities than you might have in SaaS alerts side of billable items. But I guess that's something that's a back end issue and not our front end issue, because we only get billed for the licensed 365 users.
Correct. Okay, I see Isabel has her hand up.
What about we're with the Kaseya universe, but we're not using a lot of the other products that are in the user 365 suite. So what is there going to be pricing changes for anyone not wanting to adopt the 365 user?
Great question. No.
Cool.
One of the, I mentioned before, I've done a lot of interviews with the media over the last 24 hours. And one of the things I've said consistently is the sun came up in the east today. It will set in the west. We will continue to protect our customers like we always have for the same price we always have. Michael.
This going back to just the previous question, and if this is getting too far on the weeds, that's fine. But if one adopts the Kaseya 365 user, for example, but the counts are different between the licensed 365 users and, as the gentleman mentioned, the sign-in enabled 365 accounts. So there's a mismatch. And I'm not the billing guy, but I'm just trying to get an answer. Like right now, it's discrete. So maybe I've got 120 licenses from you guys, from SaaS alerts, managed SaaS alerts. But in terms of monitored users for the rest of the products, so to speak, it might only be 90 due to various reasons. Is there some reconciliation? Because it's not always going to be a one-to-one, I guess, when one adopts the Kaseya bundle model.
Yeah. So one of the things, and Chip, feel free to jump in as well. But one of the things that we've stated consistently is that our partners like to prospect too with SaaS alerts. We don't have a high watermark. We have a bill date and we tape whatever being used on that bill date and we bill for that. So they have a mechanism in place to do that as well. And that happens in the back end, right? That you're not going to see. So first and foremost, I want to address that. And what else did I miss?
Well, and that was actually going to be a follow-up question. So the ability to prospect within a month, as long as we're potentially out by the end of the month, there's no immediate plans for that to change. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And you also mentioned manage. We will end up billing separate. So you're going to get that managed bill from SaaS alerts.
Okay.
for the time being.
Well, and
Ju-
let's also state that anyone who's a SaaS Alerts customer today in contract with us, if you just stay that way and you choose not to go to K365 user, you're still going to get your bill from us as you always right out through the end of your contract. So we're not just wholesale switching billing over. The only people who voluntarily choose to move from SaaS Alerts Direct into K365 user are going to see the relationship change.
Yeah.
Okay, Charles. No, I appreciate that.
Enrique again.
Enrique, do you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you guys. So yes, they told me either we bring everything over or we leave our SaaS Alerts account totally separate.
Correct.
And that's what we did. And we just purchased the minimum 15 new licenses to guarantee the show price, because then it goes up to 350. And the question I asked them and they haven't answered is the SaaS Alerts managed. They haven't been able to answer yet. But from what I understand, if at any point one decides to say, I want to go fully 360, the reason we use dark web and the other ones at one point, but we don't use it actively. But I think it's a great offering for future projects. And I asked if we decide to migrate everything to them because it's convenient at one point within our contract with SaaS Alerts. So we pay them their price and then we're going to pay managed. Do we still get honored our managed price we have today with you guys?
Yes.
Perfect.
Unless you're Andy Rowe and your price will go up.
I'm fully for that.
Because he's been asking us to increase his price. So
I'm fully for it.
we just want to, accommodate his request. Okay, so we've got some in chat.
A lot. You got a lot.
Okay, read some to me, Amy. So I can't keep up with the chat, but Amy's going to read me some questions and I'll answer them.
Okay.
I've been doing that too, Jim, as we go along.
What's it?
I've been keeping up with the chat questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there any that we need to answer live?
I don't think so, but if we haven't answered anyone's. So here's one. R. Sampson, I've been using Unify with ConnectWise Automate. Will that integration continue? Yes, it will.
Yes.
We don't intend to turn down any of our integrations. In fact, we continue to expanding. We expect to continue expanding integrations. Jim and I have always maintained that we are Switzerland, no matter who we partner with from a business relationship perspective. So that isn't going to change.
Okay. Jason Alexander.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, so I had some concerns with, in dealing with Kaseya for a very long time. All of the products that have been acquired by Kaseya, or most of them, really have stopped in development shortly after being acquired. And I mean, I thought you guys had a great product, but now I'm very concerned with kind of where it's going to go from there. And then along with the integrations portion, because I've seen a lot of them where once they go to Kaseya, if they had an integration with, or a prospect of an integration with another PSA or things like that, it's been either deprecated or just stopped all in as a whole.
Part of the power of SaaS Alerts is the number of integrations that we have, and we have no intentions of either eliminating or reducing those integrations. The only way that will happen, someone mentioned Automate, if ConnectWise decide they're going to kill it. We're not going to kill it. And coming back to
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What's that?
So on SaaS Alert side, your guys' stance is that you will continue to integrate with most platforms, like you said, and operate as Switzerland, as opposed to under what has been seen from Kaseya numerous times?
Yeah, well, look, we are a security product, and it's really important for the best security products to be able to ingest as much data from as many sources as possible. That's our philosophy, and no one at Kaseya has disagreed with that philosophy whatsoever. And from an innovation standpoint, we're going to continue the aggressive roadmap that we've always had. And we're going to actually, in the not too distant future, we're going to be hiring 20% more engineers, developers, to start working on additional roadmap items. So this is a huge growth area for Kaseya. And I've had conversations with Fred about, as recently as a few days ago, about how fast can you add more developers. And I've had conversations with Leron. I'm like, Leron, let's go get more developers.
We were talking about it this morning.
Yeah, because we're still waiting on the app request or whatever from a while ago too. So, I mean, I'm hoping that a lot of
Which app?
just app requests in general from
App Wizard.
Yeah, App Wizard. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you should have App Wizard. You don't have App Wizard?
As far as I thought it was supposed to be, you can anything with a viable API, you should be able to add very quickly.
Yeah, everything. So yeah, if you have an application that you want added, and it just needs a viable API. So if it's not been implemented yet, that means that this should have been communicated to you that it's not viable from the standpoint that the API isn't showing us who's logging in, where they're logging in from, what they're looking at, what are they taking. Those are the primary criteria that we need to integrate an application.
Yeah, or Jason, if you haven't requested a specific app yet, you just do that, reach out to your account manager and let them know what you're interested in having us pull in via App Wizard.
Okay. Thank you.
Jim, Chris Collins wanted to jump in here, was having a hard time raising his hand. I think it's up now.
That's a different Chris, unless, well, who knows? But in any case,
Chris
just
Collins first.
Real
Okay.
quick. Been a partner with both SAS Alerts and Kaseya for a long time, and in the past, the prevailing attitude among a lot of Kaseyans and a lot of partners was if you're using SAS Alerts and Rocket Cyber, you're kind of doubling up. They're both doing similar things. My feeling was always not quite. SAS Alerts does some different stuff than Rocket Cyber. And in fact, that was borne out at Connect IT in April when I found out there's an integration. And they actually helped me set up our SAS Alerts to Rocket Cyber integration, which was great. So my question is, going forward, I guess from a development standpoint, are these two products going to remain completely separate? Is there going to be more crossover among them, more integration? Like, what's going to happen with that prevailing philosophy that these two security products, do largely the same thing?
Yeah, Chris, great question. So there's a massive opportunity here to actually develop something new and different based on the power of both products. I was on stage yesterday here at DataCon, and one of my slides was what's to come. And at the very end, I talked about Kaseya SIM. So you can imagine, right? Because Rocket Cyber has an agent. We don't have an agent.
Right.
Rocket Cyber collects a lot of information from the network and devices. We do that today through just the connection with RMM and EDR. So what we're gonna work on, and we've already had these conversations about bringing the power of the two applications together and actually creating an opportunity to give folks Kaseya SIM for those that want it. And from a compliance standpoint, that's where everything is really headed from an industry perspective. And whether you call it SIM or XDR, that's what you can look forward to on a go-forward basis.
All right.
Is it going to happen overnight? It's not going to happen overnight.
Of course not. Right.
But that's what we're going to be working on.
Good. Okay. That answers my question. Thank you.
Thank
Okay, we
you.
have another Chris with the hand up, Jim.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to know what helped you feel comfortable partnering with Kaseya after the previous year's billing fiasco and how support handled that situation. It was a very bad experience for a lot of people, including my company.
So the question is, how do we feel comfortable with it?
Right. You want to go forth and change things. How are you getting involved to change their support as a whole? Because, you're looking at billing options. You're obviously going to be involved at some point.
Right. So first of all, high level, I think that 365 endpoint and 365 user in the long term ends up simplifying billing for partners. They're literally two different subscriptions, and your billed a per endpoint or per user price. It doesn't, when you have that many products, it doesn't get more simple than that. So I was encouraged by this direction, and I think that things will get better over time. I think that probably for you, I don't know if you're still having billing issues or not, but at one point billing issues were bad. They worked on it, and from everything I understand from the rest of the community, things are headed in a very positive direction in that regard. So that gives us a lot of comfort, and obviously we've been very involved, Chip and Leron specifically, with the Kaseya teams on billing. And again, Chris, if you don't have any other Kaseya products, or you don't want to do user, you're going to continue to get billed directly from SaaS Alerts. So
does that go into effect even after contract renewal? I saw someone else ask that question, so I wanted to put that there.
Well, unless you actively change your contract rolls over into a new term automatically.
So, but the question I think, Chip, is we're going to continue to basically bill separately for the long term. And all I can tell you is that right now, the plan for the foreseeable future is continue to bill the standalone SaaS Alerts customers as we always have.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for the question.
Enrique's up there again, Jim.
Enrique, what do you got?
I want the award for most questions asked. I'm going on a roll here.
Well, Andy's not here. It's like almost like forgiven.
So you said Kaseya SIM, and a lot of that
Yeah.
sounds to what we already have in Rocket Cyber today. We forward our checkpoint firewall logs to them, a whole bunch of different stuff. Would that be heading into that Rocket Cyber side of it, or would it be something kind of standalone? And if you can't comment, not an issue.
So one of the great things about creating a Kaseya SIM is that you're right, Enrique, there's a lot of these building blocks already there. So this is not going to be starting from scratch in any way, shape, or form. We already have a massive head start. This is going to be a lot of back-end work, fine-tuning the data, making sure the data sources are efficiently processed, and coming up with a separate UI that gives you a dashboard that makes it super easy to consume. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, 2 thumbs up from Enrique. Awesome. Isabel.
Now that Kaseya One is integratable, are you guys going to be pulling into this new report dashboard that's also coming into Kaseya One?
Yeah, so we're now integrated into Kaseya One, and I'm not 100% up on all things Kaseya One. I fully admit that. We've been just working on getting all the back-end billing stuff for 365 user set up. So I'm not intimately aware of all those different pieces.
I can add some color, Jim.
Okay, but over time, for sure, there's gonna be a lot more integration. Chip,
Yeah, Isabel, I have talked with the Kaseya One team about pulling data from our environment to integrate into the master dashboard report. That's going to be a 2025 initiative.
Okay.
Our team has really been crunching, our engineering team, for what, about 6 weeks, Jim, since some of our engineers
Yeah.
became aware of this. And the primary motion is to get the business information systems integrated as quickly as possible, make it possible for existing Kaseya customers to begin inviting their team members to SaaS alerts using the Kaseya One login, enabling for K1 user to automatically provision new partner accounts. So there's been a lot of back-end activity that we haven't focused yet on the reporting side and what I would call the more user-facing or customer-facing elements. But they've been discussed and they're on the roadmap.
Awesome.
thank you. Okay, any additional questions coming up in chat? Okay, oh, Michael.
Just, and I might have missed it, if switching into the Kaseya One product, does that change the SaaS portal, the SaaS alerts portal? Meaning, okay, so what my engineers are used to seeing, at least in the short run, I realize things, in the foreseeable future could change, but there wouldn't be an immediate change to the overall dashboard and all the components in terms of how we manage SaaS alerts, which you manage it now, but in terms of us reviewing things, that's not changing in the short term.
That's not changing, Michael. The first thing you'll see is the K1 login available as one of the identity providers. The second thing you'll see that you're accustomed to seeing in your K1 dashboard now is the menu icon in the upper right that gives you the option to switch to different Kaseya apps instantly from panel to panel. You'll see that in the next probably 6 to 8 weeks, maybe less, incorporating the SaaS alerts as well. So if you're in the SaaS alerts user interface and you want to hop over to a different Kaseya product, you'll be able to do it directly from there.
Okay, and it, in essence, just sort of a link to the SaaS portal.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
And that's only applicable, Michael, if you decide to go through to user.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I was presuming.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, how are we doing on chat? Pretty good there, Chip, Amy?
I think so. I'm going back through a little bit.
Did you guys see the question about the minimum K365?
What's that, Ben?
Eric asked, is the minimum on K365 15 or 50 users?
It's
50.
actually 50. 50, yeah. Which obviously is a big concession. I mean, we started out with a minimum of 250 and it got to 500, so.
Guys, this
Show special.
What's that?
The show special.
What about the show special?
Someone's asking about it.
Someone's asking about the show special. It's $279 a user. So even if you're not at the show, doesn't mean you can't take advantage of it. I would just contact your Kaseya account manager if you have one. If you don't, and you want to do user, reach out to your SaaS alerts account manager, and we can make sure we get you to the right folks. Anything else? This, obviously, this is not a typical SaaS-y MSP call by any means. It's the objective here is just to answer your questions. We did not come with an agenda other than to answer your questions and any concerns you might have.
Sorry if this was asked before.
Yeah,
Managed SaaS is still being sold standalone, or is it part of the K365 user, or?
right now it's still being sold standalone.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Leron just asked a good question for everybody. Are we going to continue to do the Saa y MSP call? The answer is 100% yes. Not only are we going to actually talk to Andrew about this, not only are we going to continue doing the Saa y MSP call, we're going to actually extend it to the rest of the Kaseya security suite. So we believe what we do here should be the model that the rest of the Kaseya security suite follows. Why? Because this community is so awesome. And we get so many great ideas and we get so much great feedback from all of you that that should be something every product should want. So thanks, Stephen, for clapping virtually.
Enrique's hand is up again.
Enrique.
Well, just as you mentioned, it is a very different call. I feel very quiet mood, in shock. And again, I just want to congratulate you guys. I know we've all been through, I'm a new MSP, but I went 10 months without paying them till they fixed my billing, and they finally fixed it. We've all been through those types of issues. I think the team behind SaaS Alerts has demonstrated over the years their love and passion for what they do and for the MSP community. So even though they were bought by the big K, I trust them when they tell us things are not changing in that way, except for a positive way, which obviously when you have that size as K, you have a lot of leverage and different things you can take advantage of. And understand, we go into business always with an exit strategy in mind. So I congratulate you guys. That's part of being a business owner and growing. And I'm sure you're going to continue doing a great job. So I think even though not everyone wants to celebrate, I think we need to celebrate. It's a big win.
Enrique, thank you very much for those kind words and the sentiment. Really, really appreciate that. We've gotten other, a lot of great notes from folks. There's been a handful of not so great, but based on people's previous experience, it's understandable. This is what I can commit to, right? Like, obviously not everything is always going to be rainbows and butterflies. But as an organization, when you have the right intentions, when you have the best interests of your customer at heart, good things usually happen. And our intentions are not changing. As I said yesterday on stage, I started in this industry as an MSP. The lens in which I look at everything is through the lens of an MSP. That's never going to change. That can't change. That's inside of me. That's inside of Chip. Because well before Chip was in software, he was an MSP too.
Back when we were still called VARs.
Yeah.
And then became MSPs.
Yeah. I'm
dating myself.
Chip was working on mainframes.
I did work on mainframes. I mean, my CS 101 class as an undergrad was on freaking punch cards. There you go. Now you all know how old I am.
Yeah. Right there with Bill Gates. Any other questions?
Somebody asked how we're handling the licenses purchased through our MSSPs.
Someone's asking how we're handling our licenses through MSSPs. Doesn't change. Everything stays the same in that regard. And our partners, so I want to highlight this because I know these two guys are on this call right now. I would highlight it if they were not. Solutions Granted, now SonicWall, has always been a fantastic partner to SaaS Alerts. That relationship, as far as I'm concerned, will not change. They do an excellent job at what they do. And again, as far as I'm concerned, we want to continue that relationship. And for folks that use Sonic Wall Solutions, granted, they should continue using them and benefiting from how they leverage our software. We have other MSSPs as well out there. Our relationships with those folks will not change as well.
Yeah, I want to second that endorsement from Jim. As Solutions Granted has been one of the best partners one could have to help us improve our business. Corey and Zach in particular have really dug in and have a great two-way relationship with our support team, and with our sales engineers. So highest regard for those guys.
And on the business side, look, I can't speak to Zach because I don't know Zach, but certainly Michael and Corey, first-class individuals running a first-class business.
I still remember meeting them at a conference where we all thought we were competitors, and I looked at the two of them and I thought they were going to beat me up. Like, look at the size of those two guys standing at the bar. I was like, I really want to go talk to them.
Yeah.
5 foot guy going to and talk to the gigantic Marine and his colleague.
Right. I was fortunate enough to hear at DataCon yesterday, meet with Michael for a little bit. And one of the points I made, and Michael agrees, is, look, we're all people. That's what matters the most in our relationships and how we solve problems. We might walk around with the shirts with different logos on them, but that doesn't mean that we can't come together to solve problems and help each other out. It's a really big industry. Okay, well, we're at 1:45 Eastern. I don't see any more questions. Our normal SASE call will happen next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern as normal. We'll have a normal agenda then. I doubt Andrew will be in his car then. We'll probably be hopefully back at home. We won't have the beef in his lap. And we'll look forward to it. And obviously we can't do tomorrow. A bunch of us here are traveling back to our respective homes. I can tell you the response here at DataCon has been phenomenal. And all I can promise is that our intentions as an organization, the team behind SaaS Alerts, not going to change. So with that, I want to finish how I started. Thank you. SaaS Alerts has been the best job I've ever had in my entire career. And it's because of the team that we have here, the people that I get to work with and represent every single day, and the customers, the partners like you that have helped us to get where we are, and the feedback that you give us to make our product better. It's an unbelievable combination. And from my perspective, this is just the beginning. We're going to get better from here. So with all that said, thank you very much. Have a great day. We'll see you next Thursday. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.